how good an artist is what stories they tell, how well they connect with people. That's why my mom's paintings all tell stories, is because people relate to them. I went with Mom one time. They had a art show on the Green in Biloxi, and at the George Orr, and so this couple came over and out there looking at her painting. We had them all set up around there, and I was kind of eavesdropping, and Mom said, "I just want to come over here and thank y'all for coming and looking at my paintings." Said, "You know, these artists out here, they studied with some of the best teachers in the South, and I'm just a little old folk artist, never had a lesson in my life. And it just is an honor to me that y'all would just come over here and look at my work." And about that time, the man said, "You know, my Uncle Earl used to have a pig look just like that." And boy, in a minute later, they were peeling off $600 or $800, and Alice Moseley just made another sale. You know? The house was blue, but the old lady ain't. My mom moved to Bay St. Louis when she was 80. Later on, my mom decided she wanted to paint her house, which is a very deep Wedgwood blue. And this has got Mom, she put herself out here dancing on the sidewalk to show people she was in good spirits. This railing that I'm propped up against was put in about 10 years ago. And it came about because of a funny incident. It wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny in retrospect. When my mom was at the front door and she was hanging on to the edge of the door, and she slipped and fell off the porch. And it was in a flower bed here behind me, and a stranger came down the sidewalk and said, "Ma'am, can we help you?" And my mom said, "Oh no, I'm just getting a few weeds out of my flower bed." And she started picking out the weeds. It took about 30 more minutes till somebody came along that she knew, but then she let them help her up. So my mom had a lot of pride and a lot of spunk, and she didn't like people knowing she made mistakes. This was her idea, that she really thought the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow in Bay St. Louis. And tell one of my mom's little secrets, she grew up in the Depression, so she liked things that made her feel prosperous. And one of those things, every time somebody would give her a $100 bill, she would take it and put it on top of the refrigerator in one of my Bennington pictures. And when she died, she had $6,900 bills on top of the refrigerator. This print's called Labor versus Management, and it really depends on your point of view, but everyone enjoys it. Either you're labor and think that your boss is always asked more than anyone has any right to expect, or you're the boss and you expect that all you do as your labor is sit down on you and while you pay them good money. My mom was a very good person. She was very, always for the underdog, always had very progressive ideas about civil rights and things like that. What she was worried about, and what people often think of folk art of, is glorifying the past when everybody had a maid for $2 and all this stuff, you know. And my mom wanted that to make clear that hers was more a tribute to the people that survived those times and those injustices than they were looking back fondly on those days and remember, because Mom considered herself one of those people. And in truth, if you were in Mississippi and you were a sharecropper, it didn't matter whether you were black or white, there wasn't going to be any cash money come out of it. You know, you get your credit at the store and they give you the seed and they do all this, but at the end of the year, there wasn't going to be anything much to come of it. Faulkner had a thing, his Nobel acceptance thing, he won the Nobel Prize, and it said, it's not enough just to endure the troubles and vicissitudes of life. We must prevail over them. And my mom in her life was a prevailer.